the day. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so excited because the Summit Performing Arts Resource Committee is going to be talking tonight to the cast, company members, and the creative team of Summit High School's production of Newsies. Newsies! It's just one of those musicals that everybody loves it. So we're going to be talking about that today. First of all, I should introduce myself. My name is Annie Schiffman. I am one of the members of Spark. I also have a couple of students in the Summit Public Schools. So we'd love to hear from you. Where are you watching from? How do you know about Spark? Let us know how you know about Spark. Are you a parent at Summit? Did you used to have your students in did you used to have your children in the Summit school system? Are your kids involved in the performing arts in Summit? Let us know. I see already we've got a bunch of people who have joined us. So let us know where you're watching from. I should say also, we kicked things up a notch this time around. Not only do we have the director of Newsies, not only do we have the stars and the stage manager, who everybody knows really runs the show, but we are broadcasting this both on YouTube and on Facebook. That's right. That's right. Spark, kicking it up a notch. So we are so excited because it is very important to us that we are able to highlight not only what the students are doing throughout the Summit School District, but to also let you, our donors, know how we are using the funds that we are so grateful to you to have in the first place. And so a big part of that was to help fund Newsies. Now, you're about to hear from Ann Pointer, the director, and she's going to tell you some challenges and some opportunities that this unique year has presented. But first, I want to hear from more of you. So let me know how you are involved with Spark. How do you know about Spark? Let us know in the comments right there. And I'm going to bring up on screen in the meantime, Ann Pointer. Oh, I should let you know, if you have questions any point during this conversation, please put them in the comments. We will be happy to answer them for you when we can get to it. Let's see here. There we go. Okay, here we go. So Hazel, she said she's a Summit parent here with a high schooler in the performing arts and a middle schooler. So proud of all the work that Spark does and how they have supported the district as they worked extra hard to keep the arts alive this year. Yes, it was no holds barred, all hands on deck. And you'll see from the talent and the excitement and the people that we're going to be talking to tonight that it has absolutely persevered despite the challenges of this year. Oh, Sarah Daniel, Summit High School Theater alumni, is here. All right, Sarah, thank you for joining us. Okay, speaking of joining us, we need to get to one of the very important members of this company. Ladies and gentlemen, please put some applause emojis in the comments for Ann Pointer, who's going to be joining us right now. There you are. Hey, Ann, how are you doing tonight?
I'm great. I'm very excited.
First of all, for everyone who's been watching these live streams, like, can you believe Ann Pointer is here again? How do you have more than 24 hours in the day? Like, we just chatted with you a few weeks ago because you were talking about the achievements of the speech and debate team. Yeah. And here you are again talking about what you're able to accomplish with the high schoolers in the musical theater program. Tell me about how you're able to juggle all of these different things that you have going on.
I think it's because I love it all so much, and I love the kids so much, and every day is just a joy. You know, no matter what happens during the day, and sometimes things don't go as well as you want them to go, but still, you know, I'm with the kids that I love. I'm with my creative team that I love, working with my partners at school. We have a great school. I love teaching the classes. I just love being around the kids and doing what I do. And I have since I was in high school. I never get tired of it.
Yeah, so tell me about specifically, what's something that you love about the Summit kids who are involved in this program specifically, this musical theater program? You said that you love what you do. What is it that you love?
I love telling stories together. I love when we're working together. My favorite moments are when we're in my classroom working on acting scenes, and there's, dancing might be going on somewhere else in the chorus. When there's like 3 or 4 of us in a room and we're trying to make those moments happen, and we're trying to, talk about the characters' objectives and what they're fighting against and what they're fighting for, and trying to create chemistry in between them. Those are some of my favorite moments. And then when again, when we're doing on the stage the big production numbers, and just watching, 40 kids come to life and create stories and create relationships, and how hard they work and how passionate they are together. And then you see them grow and improve. And somebody like, I'm thinking of a couple of kids right now at the very beginning, this is their first musical, and they weren't as expressive or as animated when we first began. And now they're just popping off the stage. And I just, it's just heartwarming to see how because they love it so much. They love musical theater, because what's not to love about musical theater? And I think our company together, we're kind of like the Newsies. The group in Newsies in the story is a group of boys and girls who really loved each other and worked together every single day. And I think that's what we do. So I feel like we're kind of the band of Newsies.
Now, how long have you been directing shows at Summit High?
19 years.
19 years. Okay, so then you might know also Stephanie Giusto. Am I pronouncing that right?
Are you kidding? She was my prop queen.
Right.
She was Mary Poppins. Stephanie, hey. She created all those wonderful Mary Poppins props.
Wonderful. Okay, so she's the prop
sound head. It's wonderful.
Excellent. All right, great. So we've got some alumni here. We have some parents here. We have another Summit parent here, Stephanie Yavorsky-Beardsley. She's a Summit parent here, involved in theater and Summit since Annie in 2012 at Franklin School. Love that. So here it is, almost 10 years later, being able to have your children involved in the arts in Summit. And Spark is so happy to be able to bridge the gap with funding, so that way we can make that happen time and time again for parents just like you, Stephanie. Okay, so another question to the audience. What Summit High School productions have you seen? What Summit High School productions have you seen? Let us know in the comments. Feel free to go back in the archives. Let us know some of the ones, and even if you can't remember the title, describe it for us. I bet you we could probably figure it out. So, okay, Anne, so this year, you are not performing in your usual space. Tell us about the space that you're performing in.
We are performing in a courtyard between the library and the math wing. And this is where we did our fall play as well. And, we were trying to find an outdoor space. Stephanie Beardsley's on this call. We looked at all kinds of places. We went to Morristown to look at the Shakespeare, the amphitheater at St. Elizabeth. And that was so expensive. We talked about the football field. We talked about the lower field, the upper field, the parking lot, the village green. We investigated all kinds of parking garages, downtown Summit. But we needed to be close to power, and we wanted to stream the musical. So all of that, we ended up, in the Performing Arts Garden that we named it, instead of just the courtyard. So it's the Performing Arts Garden, and it's kind of an intimate space because it's got walls on 3 sides. It's easy access to practice. The big downside is we just can't seat that many people. But it's been, it's kind of been our home all year since we did Radium Girls out there in the fall, and now we're back here again for Newsies.
Right, and it's also for everyone watching. It's also the same space where the middle school recently had their show this past weekend.
Yes.
So what's that been like? Because you haven't been able to.
That was awesome, and that was we kind of came up with that idea because they didn't have a space to perform. Their administration said, "There's really no place for you to perform except on the front steps of the middle school," and that was no. So we didn't want to do that. We really wanted them. They have such a great program. So we shared the stage. So the crews built the stage together. The student crews in Belaine was there all through, the production of Charlie Brown, with the crews working together, and the cast would see each other. Our cast went to see their show last week together. It was just a really great bonding. We had a party a couple of months ago where the 2 casts came together in the Performing Arts Garden before we even had a set, so we could kind of get to know each other. And it was really fun. It was a really great experience. And then so the fundraising was great because we could say, you're if you're donating, because we really needed a lot of extra money because this costs so much more to produce the show outside than if we had been in our home auditorium, but you're funding 2 programs, not just 1 program.
Right, exactly. So that's been really exciting this year, is to see how, given the challenges that we have, that so many organizations have figured out how can they partner with another organization, how can they work together in order to achieve this goal. Okay, can we just give a shout out for a second to Leslie Gardner Milston? She's seen Oklahoma, Beauty and the Beast, 42nd Street, Sweeney Todd. Whoa, you guys did Sweeney Todd. Mary Poppins, How to Succeed, Legally Blonde, Pippin, Mamma Mia, all amazing. Leslie, whew, holy moly, thank you for being such a supporter of the arts in Summit. Wow. So, Anne, next year, let's assume, the governor has said there's not going to be any more virtual learning next year. So many different restrictions are being raised. What is going to happen to the Performing Arts Garden? Do you have any idea?
I think it'll be a really nice place to have lunch during the day.
Okay, great. So we're not thinking that it's going to also be an outdoor space.
I mean, it could be an outdoor space. All of our equipment will come down. We had to rent a lot of equipment. The stage is going to come down. We are planning on performing in our auditorium next fall and next spring for the fall play and the musical. But I think now that we know, there could be some, maybe gatherings or receptions out there. That would be fun. But we want to go back into our home.
Yes, exactly. To head back onto the stage. Yes. Now, speaking of the stage, I'm going to bring up to the stage Valaine Tolentino. Sorry about that, Valaine. Valaine Tolentino. She is the stage manager, which means that she's had to handle all of these different changes that are happening. So we're going to bring her up. We're also going to be hearing from leads in the show, Donald and Gracie, but they're coming. But first, we are going to hear from Valaine. So here she comes up here to join me and Ann Pointer. Hey, Valaine.
Hi, how are you?
Great. So there must be a number of challenges that you've had to deal with as the stage manager for this production. Tell us about what some of those have been.
Oh, for sure. It's so different being inside and outside, especially with our COVID safety precautions that we need to take. So every day before rehearsals, me and my team, we work together, taking their temperatures, making sure that everyone is 6 feet apart. And also, like Ms. Pointer said, now moving the stage outside. Our shop is usually right next to the auditorium, so we can build stuff right away, but now we have to bring it literally like halfway through the school to the other side and then build it outside. So actually the stage for Newsies, what we did was we built it inside first, we painted it and everything, and then we took it apart to bring outside. And now we also had to set up a lot of the lights and the sound stuff outside too, which were hard because like for our other shows, they were just built into the auditorium.
Wow. And so much of that is under your jurisdiction as the stage manager. And I want to say, oh my gosh, hold on. All right. There's a lot of Queen Val, Hey Queen, Valaine. I mean, there's a lot of love happening for you because of the work that you've had to do. So what is something that you feel really proud about that you've been able to rise to the occasion because of the challenges that you've had with this production?
I feel like being able to figure out everything on the fly, because none of the stage managers have had to deal with this before. So going into this year, actually, I wasn't sure if we were going to have a show. And then I was surprised and I was happy when Ms. Pointer let me know and was like, oh, we are putting on a show. Like, not on my watch, we aren't going to have a show. So we had to figure everything out, especially since back then in September, everything was still really strict. Putting on Radium Girls was kind of hard. Now that we have Newsies and the mask mandate was lifted, we're having a good time outside.
Right, exactly. So how have things changed in the past week and a half or so? And with the different rules that have come down or really sort of been lifted with the governor, how has that affected what is going to be happening as far as the audience's perspective, as far as your rehearsals? Tell us about how some of those changes have affected you.
Now for rehearsals, so before we had to work with masks on, and that was hard when we were making sets and stuff like that and building them inside because it's like hard to breathe and it was labor. It was things we made with our hands. But ever since we moved outside and we were building stuff, our lights and trusts, it was easier for us, those that were vaccinated, to have our masks off. And also, as Ms. Pointer mentioned, now we have more seating options available. So that was good.
I do want to say at this point, there is the opportunity. I believe that all of the tickets in person have been sold already, but there is going to be a stream that is happening at the Summit High School auditorium. And you can also stream the show in your home as well. There's sort of there's a feed happening of some sort. So right there, scrolling along the bottom, is the link that you can go to. And of course, we're going to put that in the comments. Of course, you're going to be able to find it pinned on our page. But just so you know, you can get your tickets now to see this show, whether you're available to see it in person in the auditorium or stream it from your home. So, wow, can we all just put some more applause emojis into the comments for Villain and for Ann Pointer? You know, I do have to say, in the fall, when we were having our fall meetings, Anne had made it very clear that, like you had said, Villain, there was going to be a show this year. Like, it was not going to happen. So I'm a parent at Lincoln Hubbard. You know, I'm not in the high school or anything like that. I started thinking as well, like, well, if they can do it, why can't we do it? And so then, because of that, there was sort of this chain reaction that happened where Lincoln and Hubbard was able to figure out how to make a production happen. Franklin was able to figure out how to make a production happen. So much of this was going through by the possibility of course, we're going to do this. So it's really exciting. Okay, we've got to put the emojis here. All right, next we need to hear from two of the leads in the show to discuss how that whole production has been from a performance standpoint. So Villain and Pointer, thank you so much. Stay nearby. I may have you jump back up again. Also, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. We'll be happy to get to them. We're going to try to keep this a tight 30 minutes, but hopefully we'll have a little bit of time for Q&A. So feel free to add your comments into the stream right there. All right. So thank you, Villain. Thank you, Anne.
So welcome.
And now coming up, we have Donald Grennan and we have Gracie Beardsley, who are two of the leads in the show. Here they are coming up on stage right there. There they are. Boom. How is it going? I'm actually really pleased that you both are speaking to me, because I feel like at this point, you know, Donald, when does your show open officially?
Officially, it opens next Wednesday, June 2nd. But we have next week. Okay, so this is a big deal that they're even talking to us right now, and they're not on full vocal rest, right? So just the idea that you are taking the time to speak to us, you don't have a huge scarf on or a big mug of tea, is something that we truly appreciate. So thank you for taking the time. Gracie, tell us a bit about how rehearsals have been for you. You and I were talking a little bit before the show about rehearsing masked. Talk to us about the challenges of singing while being masked for rehearsal.
It's definitely different, especially since all of us are used to, you know, not wearing masks and not being 6 feet apart. And it's definitely a big change, especially being a senior. You know, I was so used to what we did every single year. And I think all of us, it was just a huge change. And I think it's definitely hard to sing in a mask. It's hard to get air, but I think that we've all kind of come together and we've kind of learned to, you know, work with these challenges and just take the best of our situation. Yeah.
Donald, this is a very dance heavy show. So the issues that Gracie is bringing up with singing in masks, how do they affect you when you're trying to dance?
I think they affect in a really similar way, the same way that obviously when you're singing, there's so much emphasis on like breathing, and that the mask obviously doesn't help with that. But when you're dancing, again, kind of what Villain was saying too, it's labor, it's like strenuous, you have to breathe. So that was definitely an issue that we ran into with all of us trying to do these big long dances with jumps and turns and crossovers and not being able to breathe freely. And then once we added the singing on top of that, to sing and dance inside with a mask on or even outside, it was really difficult. But I think it helped with our stamina. And now that we don't have to wear our masks outside for those of us who are vaccinated, I think it's made us stronger, like our respiratory system. So it's kind of helped.
Right, exactly. It's that whole idea of like when people will put extra weight on their hands or something like that, so that way they can build up their muscles, and then when they take it off, and then it's so much easier for them to dance. I was wondering about your stamina, which you had mentioned, Donald, with dance, because with all of the social distancing that's been in effect for a year, and have you been able to just rehearse and to dance? Like, did you just have to even get your stamina back up just to be at performance level at all?
Yeah, so when we started our first workshops, we started in the winter. So we always have audition workshops in the winter where we get taught the dances. We get taught the vocal cuts for auditions. We go through some of the acting scenes, all helped by the production team to get us ready for auditions, and also by dance captains and senior leaders and officers. So this year we had to do it virtually because I think we were shut down for school. But we all did it from home, and that was the first time that we were like taught a dance. And I remember I was like out of breath. I didn't even have a mask on. I was like, it was cold, so it was harder to breathe. But overall, it was so hard. And I was texting my friends. I was like, guys, we need to start running. We need to start doing all of this cardio stuff because we have no stamina because we hadn't done anything since Mamma Mia, really, or since the summer. So getting the stamina back up was a big part, and still is. It's really, really tough with these big numbers.
Gracie, are you running through the show? Are you doing full run-throughs at this point?
Yeah, we are, which has been a ton of fun, but it's definitely been a switch from just running one number and kind of getting like the set together and the set changes and everything. It's definitely been a challenge, but we're working through it and everything's coming together.
Donald, have you found that any of the challenges that you've had to work through have been helpful for your character?
I think so. One big challenge that I faced was the vocal range of the show. I'm a bass baritone, and the show is written for Jeremy Jordan, who is a super tenor. So
high tenor, yeah.
Yeah, so that was really daunting from the start, even before auditions, going out for this part, knowing that my range was going to be an issue. And pushing through that and expanding my range with the help of my voice teacher, Heather Holcomb, has really taught me a lot about myself and like really the effects of hard work, because I've worked with her tirelessly to really expand my range, and to see the product of that is really awesome.
Gracie, have you used any of the challenges that you've had, whether it's stamina or just, having a year without the usual things that you're used to? Have you found that helpful in forming your character?
Yeah, definitely. I would say the same thing for the stamina. My song is very fast paced and it's very difficult to get breath, especially in a mask. So I think now that we're taking our masks off, I'm able to get a lot more breath, and because I'm used to singing with a mask and like taking huge breaths, and it's definitely just helped me, I guess, singing with a mask, because now that I take it off, it's a lot easier to get breath and like get through the song.
So tell us about how it has felt. Ann Pointer discussed about oftentimes the cast can feel like a really tight group of people, much like how the Newsies are in that story. How have you found, Donald, that the cast relationship has changed from the beginning when you were all virtual in completely different places to now that you're able to, some of you rehearse without masks on, rehearse outside, be together? Tell us about that transformation.
Well, I think the musical always does an amazing job just in its own nature of really bringing a cast together. We've been together now for longer than we ever usually are together. I think we're coming up on almost 5 months of being together. So the trip from the beginning, I know a lot of the underclassmen, we didn't really know them when we were rehearsing online at the beginning. But now we've been working tirelessly on these like big production numbers where everyone is a part of them. And so that repetition and being there every day with the same group of people has really made us tight. And going through all of the strenuous dancing, we all are able to kind of be together and support each other.
Yeah, I actually want to bring Vilaine back up to talk about that process as well with the crew, because I'd love to hear And Verlaine is just about to join us again. Verlaine, so tell us about how it's been for the crew. Have you been meeting a little bit longer than you might normally on a production? And how have you felt that that's been able to galvanize your crew?
Yes, we do. Since the show has been longer, it's been kind of hard. They're kind of burnt out, but they're still happy to be doing it, if that makes any sense. And now for the lights and all of the stuff that we need to do, it has to happen at night, so we have to stay longer. Because when we have to program lights and sound, they can't do it in the daylight.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to stay later along with our directors to help them with that.
Gracie, you're a senior. You said you've been involved in the shows for a number of years. Have you found that you needed to step up as a leader this year? And how has that been with this extended rehearsal process? Has it been harder to keep people motivated, like Verlaine is saying? And how have you been able to do so as a leader?
Oh, definitely. It has been very difficult. I think we're all kind of just burnt out. But through these past weeks, I've been able to kind of just talk to everybody and just get everyone excited and, talk about why we do this and why we want to be a part of it. And I think that motivation of our original motivation for auditioning for this show, we just need to remember that. And for example, we didn't have rehearsal a few weeks ago and we all went to Magic Fountain and just had the day off. And I think that was a great way for the cast to bond and, just get excited for the show again and get that motivation back that we originally had in the beginning.
Donald, what do you think about this story is so important for these times? Like, why should people be watching this show now? Why should people be getting their live stream tickets for a show that's going to be happening on June 2nd through the 6th at Summit High School? Why should they be doing that now?
I think that the show is really important now. Also with Radium Girls, in a similar message with young people standing up against really powerful people, corporations, and in a similar way, Newsies, the young Newsies who really have nothing, standing up against the big bosses in New York. And I think that that really parallels today, where we, as a kind of a generation of social media and being able to have our voices heard, it's really kind of timeless. And to see those parallels is what makes the show so interesting. And it's based in 1899, and in 2021, the fact that it's still really relevant is amazing.
Fascinating, so exciting. Well, thank you so much. Thank you to Ann Pointer, who is not on screen, but absolutely thank you so much to you, Ann, for helping to bring this story to Summit. Thank you, Donald, Verlaine, and Gracie. Best of luck as you finish out the tech for your run and as you have your run. And for everyone watching, be sure to get your tickets to Newsies at Summit High School. It's going to be going from June 2nd, right? Make sure, fact check me, everybody. June 2nd through June 6th, right? So you'll be able to head to showtix4u.com/events, and you'll be able to get your tickets to either stream it or see it in person. Sarah Daniels says, break a leg, guys. Absolutely. That from Summit High School alumni. And thank you all so much for your time. Thanks everyone for watching tonight. And we'll keep you posted on what else is going on with the Summit Performing Arts Resource Committee. Thanks everybody.